And welcome back to another edition of Access Sports Network. My name is Justin Kish. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. Just the other day, the Atlanta Braves, a team that has just been all over the news this entire offseason. You know, this is a team that's open to trading just about anybody on their roster. I know Freddie Freeman's name has been brought up. Pitcher Shelby Miller's name has been brought up. But also, this is a team that has, lost a lot but has acquired a lot. And this is a team is also in the mix of trying to add some young pitching. The Atlanta Braves have some great pieces that they can trade for, legitimate prospects. I know they can end up getting some nice prospects from Julio Teheran if they're able to, move him during the offseason. Shelby Miller's name has also been brought up, so he can potentially end up getting moved, and he can bring in a nice pair of prospects as well, some top-tier prospects. But Shelby Miller, this is an Atlanta Braves team last year was just completely a dud. We were all shocked with the way how this team was, ran, how low, of their record was. It was just not a great team overall. But needless to say, it's time to, start working for the future. You got a lot of great veterans on this roster. You guys like, AJ Pierzynski, Michael Bourne, Nick Swisher. It's very, much of a veteran-based, lineup, but you got to go into your rotation, and at the back end of your rotation, you don't have a lot of standout pitchers. I know you have an excellent 1-2 punch with Shelby Miller and Julio Teheran, but going into the middle and down to the back end of the rotation, it just nothing really stands out. So the Atlanta Braves made it a top priority to go into the offseason and start adding some young pitching. So today, or the other day, they picked up pitcher Bud Norris, who has been, a bit on the move. At the age of 30, Bud Norris, a guy who made almost $8 million, who made close to $9 million, in his salary in 2015. This was a poor man last year. He had a 6.72 ERA with a 3-11 record. He was later waived by the Baltimore Orioles back in August. He was later picked up for the last month or so of the season for the San Diego Padres, and he still did not really captivate anything and did not really show any signs of improvement when he made the transition from being as an American League pitcher over to the National League with the San Diego Padres, as that is also a team that could potentially end up doing some trades down the line as they made Matt Kemp available. But that's a topic for another video. But Bud Norris coming over to Atlanta, is it a great move? I do see it as a great move, but you know what? This is going to be a guy that's going to be battling for a spot in the rotation. I don't think he's going to end up, if he does get beat out during spring training, I don't think this is going to be a guy that's going to be willing to, go to the bullpen or go down to AAA. I think Bud Norris still has what it takes to be a Major League Baseball player up at the MLB roster. I just don't think that he's going to end up, if he does not make it out, because there's a lot of top, talent in this rotation that can really, battle Bud Norris. Guys like Manny Banuelos. Who else is there? Mike Minor's coming back from injury. You got guys like, I want to say it was Williams Perez. There's just a lot of guys who are itching and scratching, trying to get that last spot in the rotation, and it's going to be a battle. Bud Norris, he did not really have any shine on me moments last year. I know he was impressive in those 3 victories, but there were victories that were just not, overall solid performances. So you go back and look at the games that he pitched in those 3 wins, they were not 100% solid performances. They were struggling performance. The 2015 year and in general for Bud Norris was an ultimate struggling year. 2016 could be different. He's coming over to Atlanta Braves, a new, look and scenery. He's remaining in the National League, and he does have some, great veteran hitting behind him. If they don't, move any other players, if they do keep, Freddie Freeman, if they do keep Michael Bourne, I know Markakis is there. They just re-signed AJ Pierzynski. Then they do have some some hitters behind them and in the lineup. But then again, it's all about coming down the pitching. You are the heart and soul. Every single game that starting pitcher is the heart and soul, and it really has to be that guy to really step things up and try to not put runs on the board. But last year Bud Norris did do that, and he ultimately did suffer his time in Baltimore, his time in San Diego. But now the Atlanta Braves are taking an opportunity with him, and they'll be giving him an opportunity to compete in the starting role against guys like Williams Perez, Manny Banuelos, just a couple of guys in company there. So let me hear your guys' opinion about this. Bud Norris is now an official member of the Atlanta Braves. My name is Justin Kish for the Access Sports Network. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button and keep on coming back for more baseball coverage. We got a lot more videos coming your guys' way as free agency continues to roll on. My name is Justin Kish, and I'll catch you guys in our next video.